Hello and welcome to a very exciting edition of the Desert Mountain Podcast. My name is Kim Atkinson. I'm our Director of Marketing Communications, and this is a very special edition of our podcast today. We have some amazing guests lined up, and it's a first because, I'm kicking things off here. So, hello, John Lyberger.
Hello, Kim.
See, we got it. We got Todd Bohn over here.
How y'all doing?
Very good. And welcoming Chad Goetz from the Nicklaus Companies. Welcome, Chad.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you all so much for being here. We are taking just a few minutes out of a very, very busy day. We're doing a lot of work and checking things out at Renegade and the new range and a little sneak peek ahead at Cochise. And so we thought this would be a great opportunity to take a quick time out and go through some things. But before we do that, Chad, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. This is my first podcast ever, so Forgive me. Yeah. My name is Chad Goetz. I'm a senior design associate with Nicklaus Design. I've been there 23 plus years now. Worked all over the world and back domestically now, and I've come in and taken over the Desert Mountain properties on our behalf a few months ago. So kind of went through the range here and working through the work we're doing on Renegade, and then obviously getting ready for Cochise and everything that comes after that.
Fantastic. Well, I think we should start out on the course. So John, Todd, Chad, you all were out there going through things this morning. What do you think the members are going to be most excited about when we reopen Renegade?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All
right. I haven't seen it, but you go ahead.
Well, I think ultimately, first of all, they're going to notice the tees have been changed, which I think is going to be the biggest change for them. Being a little more level, a lot bigger areas to utilize and to play from. And so I think ultimately that's probably going to be the biggest thing. I think the next biggest thing may be the bunkers that we've repaired or fixed with adding the irrigation in there and getting the bunker faces more consistent around the bunkers. And then thirdly, I think ultimately it'll be with the ryegrass, with the switch from the bent grass to the ryegrass will provide a different playing surface for them, and one that a lot of our members are more familiar with. And all the skill levels will be a little more forgiving for a lot of them.
That's right.
Yeah, I think also in addition to that, our short game facility and our practice areas are going to be world class. I know we walked the 3-acre, I'll call it the short game park today. Chad was able to get in there and, paint some lines and, direct the Landscapes Unlimited to grade, the area that it needs to be put in the right spots. But for the most part, the bunkering, the practice pitching, chipping greens are all spectacular. We shot enough turf talks over on the driving range, talk about the wedge range, talk about the range tee and so forth. And, that's a home run already. But, boy, that short game park is going to be something special. Chad, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the other changes on Renegade, like 1,
Sure.
5, 9, so forth.
Well, it kind of like it's not uncommon to make some subtle tweaks to golf courses after their first open. You try and predict how it's going to play, but sometimes some things come about that you maybe didn't think about the first time through. So besides the agronomy, we're working on softening a few things, increasing the playability a little bit. So the first green, 5th green, and 9th green, we're partially rebuilding, redesigning to make them a little more receptive for folks coming into those white greens. So that'll be good. We've removed a handful of bunkers, and we've softened some shaping as well, just trying to spread out some play in some areas, and a lot of agronomic stuff for Todd, just so he can better manage what's out there.
Go ahead, Kim.
I was just going to say, so as far as the work that we're doing this summer, how are things progressing as far as our timeline?
We are right on time, if not maybe slightly ahead of schedule on some things. After Chad's visit today, we got some things that we keep us busy for the next couple of weeks to get us up to the seeding date, but we're still targeting that 1st of September timeline to be dropping seed down, and it's not going to be the whole golf course at that one time. We're going to have steps in there. Will be some holes. We may be doing some holes on the front, some holes on the back, just depending on where we're doing the work, because we still got a lot of dirt work to do on these where we're making some tweaks, and so but ultimately we're right on schedule, if not a little bit ahead. The guys with landscapes have done a nice job.
Yeah, I think number one is where members are going to really notice the biggest change. That hole went, from a pretty difficult starting hole, hitting over those bunkers on the left to now moving those bunkers to the right to help, make the play go down the left side, protect the parking area for the new Renegade clubhouse. But that hole to me now is a great opening hole in terms of having the ability to, hit that first jittery tee shot out there and get started in your round and start out with, a nice score, a par, hopefully, and not a double bogey, and move on.
And the envelope in that space to have the clubhouse to anchor that, similar to what we're doing here at 7 today, and having that whole experience integrate is just going to be spectacular when that's ready. So back to the range, there are some things that we didn't have before that we're now introducing, Chad, with your help there. So tell us what we should be excited about.
Yeah, the new range is very inviting. It plays up the hill, and the general shape of the range is a big bowl, so it really funnels everything and focuses your eye kind of into the middle. We've got a handful of target greens out there for you to practice some of your shots and do larger tee down there, and then I think the big fun thing is the wedge range, which is starting to become really quickly a trend in practice areas. I've since being here, I've got 2 wedge ranges going into other ranges around the country. So I think that's just going to be a lot of fun for members to stand there and really dial in their distances. I know John can explain it a little bit better, but it's a series of typical distances, and each green gets a little bit bigger, and it's basically the circumference of the green is the typical dispersion shot for a PGA Tour player for that particular size. So that's going to really give you instant feedback on how well you're hitting that shot and a good standard to play against.
That's great. We're going to enjoy that, and timing there is okay.
It's growing in nicely. It's all grassed and.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said in the turf talk earlier, that I think last week, or the humidity and the rain has been awesome for that range. That Bermuda grass loves this tropical weather, as we put it out here. Yeah, today. I know it's not tropical where Chad's from, but this is, for us out here in Arizona, this is what they tell me is tropical. This isn't tropical as much to me either, but I'm getting used to this, to being tropical. So.
Well, that's good news for the Bermuda.
Yes.
So on the range itself, there is a section that Todd needs to go in and actually finish yet, and that's where Todd Bohn and the construction crew are putting in a new sewer line for the clubhouse. Bruin, yeah.
Yes.
So I think I heard today Elliot said that'll be ready by the 22nd for him to start working.
Yeah, we hope that sewer line's done by the 22nd, and then we'll be finishing hopefully our last bit of dirt work, getting our last target green in there, and finish that off. And then obviously we'll sod that corner out and hopefully get that done here as soon as possible.
So that should catch up with the range floor that was seeded.
Yeah, it should. It may be just a little bit behind here initially, but it should catch up.
Nice.
And then we're gonna do some touring here in October. We have those dates. I think we put it out there on the in the Mountain Minute, October 6th and 7th. Those registration links are live. So if you go to the member website and go to the calendar, you can register for that and take a golf cart tour of the course and the range.
Yeah, we're excited for that, again, to get the members out. Have some short presentations with them to kind of give a state of the agronomy, the State of the Union address, I guess, kind of where we've come over the last 6 months or whatever, however long it's been since we got together with golf groups and with the membership, and then conclude that with the majority of the time out touring, and a question and answer with folks to kind of let them understand what we're doing.
We'll hold those down at the Jim Flick Golf Performance Center, so
Perfect.
That way we're right there in that area. We can walk right outside. We can take a tour and show the members what's been happening all summer.
That's going to be great. They'll love seeing that. And then with member engagement, too, in advance of looking at Cochise, Damon has done some video work to kind of give a look at what we can expect in terms of our voting schedule and what are the things that we're looking at from a golf course perspective, what would be next for us, and it is the Cochise course. So, but before we do any voting. We have a lot of work to do. Just getting a look out there later today, and we're going to study each and every hole, and we look at this as more of a restoration type project, Chad.
Right. This is going to be a very different project than Renegade. Cochise is a wonderful golf course. I'll date myself a little bit. When it opened in 1988, and they had the tradition, I remember watching that every year while I was in high school. Long time ago, but just really cool to see that golf course, and it's really exciting for me here personally, professionally, to be working on that. So we're certainly not looking to reinvent that at all. I've been working really closely with John and Todd, getting their feedback both from playability standpoint and also the agronomics. So very much the members are going to very much recognize what is put back there. We're going to very closely try to work off the greens. They're beautifully contoured, so we're not looking to make any wild changes to that. There'll be a handful of new greens where we've got to push a few things around a little bit, but for the most part, it's formalizing tees, giving more options toward the front of the golf course for some of the members. We're working on, I know John's very concerned about the walkers out there, making sure that they've got a little bit easier access between holes. But it's certainly reached its life cycle expectations for all the infrastructure stuff that nobody sees underground, but all that needs to be updated. And again, while the greens will be very similar, it's more than time to have new structure underneath those. And again, we're focusing on making it a little easier to maintain, very much keeping the character of the golf course as it is today, and just trying to make it reset those life cycles so it's ready for the next 30 years. And hopefully everybody will continue to enjoy it.
I think, too, having more tees available for the higher handicap golfer will be widely accepted and appreciated.
Right. That's very important. In any project I'm working on these days, we're going forward. So, you already had the green tees out there, but many of them haven't been quite formalized and properly located yet. So that's going to clearly be a high priority of this project, making sure those forward tees are properly placed and constructed.
And then entering and exiting, I know that's kind of an issue as well. So we're addressing that.
Yeah, that golf course was built, back when there wasn't quite the amount of members that we have now in the use, and so some of those areas weren't built for the traffic that we have, and so we're just going to try to open it up as much as we can and make it a little more friendly for carts, for walkers, for everything to kind of spread wear and tear out and help us with our turf consistency and continue to build on what we got over there.
Perfect. Wasn't there some high-level thinking initially on some of the greens that we had Chad take a look at that, and you had some feedback for us, and we want to kind of set the record straight on what's happening with that.
There was some early, really high-level thought of perhaps reversing the nines out at Cochise, and part of that was just the relationship with the new clubhouse and how the circulation would work around that. But, we sat down and looked at that pretty closely, and, I pointed out that the first three holes and generally kind of point into the east on the backside, which would have been the front side, and I don't think you want to start the first three holes playing into the sun. So that pretty much quickly put it back to keeping it the way it is. So how it's played today is how it'll be played when we're done.
That's fantastic. And so when we get all those details kind of highlighted, those member meetings will be scheduled, and we'll go through everything hole by hole and get everybody educated on the plans that are going to be in place.
Yeah, our scope is pretty much sorted out now, and we'll be putting together a presentation so the members can carefully compare before and what's proposed. And we're just working through some final details on the practice area now, trying to make that a little more functional for short game and practice putting and tee space. So, we'll get that dialed in here pretty quick and be ready to move forward.
And moving the dog park, I think, is going to be kind of helpful in that regard as well.
It's helpful, but it's been a challenge.
Okay. All right. More to come on that.
More to come. There's grading issues everywhere, depending on you do one thing, it's a chain reaction, then
Sure.
it affects everything else. But, that's why, Chad makes the big bucks so you can figure all that out.
We got it.
So he's
Awesome.
he's a very, very bright architect and has been just a joy to work with. And we thank you for your support and expertise and for listening, to our thoughts and kind of what our members' thoughts are, because we just pass those on, and we think we've got a good plan. We've got a tremendous team, and it's going to be awesome. Members are going to it's going to be a real treat to have new turf grass out there that's consistent. It's going to be awesome for Todd and his team to not be fixing, irrigation breaks every week.
Very good. Well, I feel like I say this every week, but we have so much to look forward to. And we so appreciate taking the time out, grabbing a quick bite, and hopping back out there to do some more touring and planning for us, Chad. So thank you so much for coming in and
pleasure.
taking the time.
We'll be here for a long time.
When anything else,
Yeah,
Mr.
I just want to
Lyberger?
mention, we really didn't touch on the Cochise driving range.
Right,
We just kind of brushed by that a little bit. So I just want to stop. That's one of the things that this past 2-3 weeks that Chad, Todd, and I have been really going back and forth on Zoom and looking at the range. And there's some challenges, but I think Chad's got a pretty good plan now and how that ties in with the new parking area and the bridge that comes across and the dog park changes and so forth. So those presentations will also come out in the fall. And, rest assured, members, we're going to create the best that we can with the area that we have to work with. And, I think that we have the other project that's going on with the Apache Range Tee. That's coming along nicely. That's going to be completed.
Yeah, it's looking really good up there, and we're going to have a lot more useful space up there, flat level space, and we're excited for that.
Picking up quite a few extra square feet.
Yeah, we're picking up roughly around 10 to 12,000 square feet extra that we didn't have before for usable hitting space.
That's significant.
Very significant.
And a nice, easy way to get on that.
Yeah, you won't have to walk up a slope anymore, worry about falling down, slipping, and all of that thing. So you'll enter right off the cart path, which will be really cool.
Very good. Anything else, gentlemen?
I don't think so. All right. Thank you.
Time to go back out and get dirty.
Let's get to it. All right, let's do it. That wraps it up for us, members. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, we'll see you then.